Back in 2016, Google's AI DeepMind for the first time beat a human at Go, a game considered the pinnacle of human intellect. Fast forward to 2022, it's writing code better than your average programmer, and by 2023, it's replacing entire professions. But today, the real battle isn't just AI versus humans. It's a clash of industry titans. Seems like only yesterday, Google was unstoppable, the undisputed pioneer of AI. But their dominance today has visibly dwindled. OpenAI and the Chinese are this close to creating a superintelligence that will forever change our way of life. And whoever takes the leap will have absolute power over information, economy, and perhaps even reality itself. So, who really rules the tech world today? How did some companies manage to overtake Google? Why are even the sharks at a precipice? And what does all of this mean for us? Hit that like button and welcome to the most dangerous digital race on the planet. In the early 2000s, Google added the "Did you mean?" feature to its search bar, using machine learning to correct our spelling mistakes. And from the first step, the company didn't stop for 20 years. Over $100 billion invested into AI in just the last 5 years alone. Google got the title of pioneer thanks to their fast reaction times and incorporating AI into their services. However, winning once is a lot easier than consistently coming out on top. Google got to furniture moving in 2014 with its AlphaGo, the app that beat a world champion at Go for the first time ever. This game was considered off limits for robots because intuition is more important than calculation here. Despite its success, though, Google is losing the race for digital assistants. They can't keep up with Amazon, which already has a virtual assistant, Alexa, that's being integrated into all of Amazon's smart speakers. It was only a couple of years after top manager Sundar Pichai joined the company that AI projects, including the voice assistant, sped up rapidly. Like in 2017, when the creation of a new neural network algorithm for understanding human language was announced. It was called Transformer. You'd think that Google, whose technologies led the way in the field and generated enormous profits, would have been the first to realize the potential of transformers. But within the company, the idea seemed too bold. One employee even admitted, "We could have had GPT-3 or even 3.5 back in 2020. The question is, why didn't we do anything with what we saw ourselves?" Certain elements of Transformers were brought in after all, but once again, too late. Only in 2018, and only in translators. Google lost its monopoly on AI trends. More and more, it was in position of trying to catch up, and it allowed competitors to take up a very profitable niche. Nature abhors a vacuum, and boom, OpenAI shows up. When Google was asked why, with all of their resources, they didn't launch their own large language model first, their representative said, quote, "Not entirely sure what could have come of it. The thing is, we can do more after people see how it works." OpenAI, on the other hand, did not hesitate. It wasn't afraid of reputational risks or the novelty of its ideas. Moreover, the company was very new because it was created in 2015. That's why they went all in, got their first investment, refined the Transformers architecture from Google, and presented to the world ChatGPT. That was 3 years ago, but the buzz is still on. After all, a number of uses has been found for this AI, from writing scientific papers to debugging code and busting out sick rap lyrics, yo. In its first year of existence, it gathered more than 100 million active users all over the world, and as early as 2025, the developers project that every 8th person on Earth will use their creation. The main key to OpenAI's leadership was the product itself. If it solves a problem in such a way that people can't help but notice, then that's half the success. And the second half is leadership. And here, there's no fairy tales about broke students rising to the top of Harvard or Stanford. Elon Musk and Sam Altman stood at the foundation of OpenAI. Not only did their ambition help OpenAI, but also the promise to explore the world of AI openly, transparently, sharing this knowledge with the public, against the backdrop of competitors holding their AI solutions close to their chest. In addition to ChatGPT, the company gave us a neural network for generating images, DALL-E, and Whisper for speech recognition, and Sora for generating videos from a text description. OpenAI overtook Google and other players because it bet on mass market just in time and brought AI into the format of a simple and accessible service. Everyone already forgot that OpenAI was originally a non-profit lab that was supposed to work for the benefit of all mankind. Now, it's a powerful business with paid subscriptions, which in 2019 struck a deal with Microsoft and therefore got billions of dollars in investment from it. Transparency is also a thing of the past because the architecture and details of GPT-4 training were not disclosed at all. Musk is in a similar position due to a conflict of interest. Moreover, he left with a bang, founding xAI with his chatbot Grok, which we'll get to a bit later. Yet, even though OpenAI went commercial, it continued to sail in stormy weather because in 2023, unexpectedly for everyone, one of the founders, Sam Altman, was fired for not being consistently candid with the board. Immediately, over 700 employees of the company announced leaving it in protest. And voila, Altman is back in the game. This and other high-profile scandals were accompanied by lawsuits against the company and the mysterious disappearance of all of its key directors. Game of Thrones got nothing on OpenAI. And Musk? Well, he left only to return and offer $10 billion for the company to try and stop the transformation of the startup into a commercial giant. To which Altman ironically replied, quote, "No thanks, but we'll buy Twitter for that money if you want." This dialogue continued in court because Musk filed a lawsuit in which he stated that OpenAI violated the terms of contract, put money above the public good, and together with Microsoft, monopolized the market. The turmoil led to the company's loss of approximately $5 billion in 2024, and they justified it. Costs of maintaining operations and other items such as salary and rent. And while all of this drama is taking place, we got another variable added to the mix. China. What it does next falls short of a high-action thriller. It shows up and desecrates the US AI and chip markets. A leaked internal Google document from last year stated, quote, "We're not ready to win this arms race, and neither is OpenAI. While we were arguing, a third party quietly took our lunch." I am, of course, talking about open source. Chinese tech giants Alibaba, Baidu, and DeepSeek concocted their response accordingly. What's more important is that unlike the US, where AI development was slowed down by scandals and money grabs, in China, science, business, and the state worked as one. The Chinese government has set a clear goal: to become a world leader in AI by 2030. And here, they're already in the lead with the number of patents for artificial intelligence in the world. About 62%, and gradually they're catching up to the land of the free and home of the brave in terms of industry investment. On a side note, the ratio of IT specialists in China to the US is 3-1. Obviously, Uncle Sam couldn't just kick back and whittle some, so an attempt was made to slow down China's AI rise. They closed China's access to AI training in US cloud systems, forbade investors from investing in Chinese enterprises and supplying them with chips. But the dragon still managed to break into the American market. At the end of January this year, the startup DeepSeek launched its chatbot, DeepSeek V3, an equivalent of GPT. Its main advantage? Lower equipment and training costs. Surprisingly, the bot quickly overtook its direct competitor in the number of downloads from the App Store. Not just in China, but even in the US and the UK. A collapse ensued. Shares of American tech giants plummeted, particularly the microchip manufacturer Nvidia, which in a single day lost $600 billion market cap and the title of the most expensive company in the world. Even Altman took to former Twitter X, quote, "DeepSeek is impressive, especially what they offer for the price. After all, the system reportedly cost China only $6 million, which is exactly how much a crypto bro purchased a wall-taped banana for last year. Did he get to have the banana and eat it too? Time will tell. But this technological leap by Chinese corporations is clearly bypassing American restrictions, which has become a serious challenge for the states. Giants like Alibaba and Tencent formed large chip reserves in advance, receiving them through friendlies in other countries. And smaller players, such as DeepSeek, had to innovate by saving on computing algorithms, which means they saved on the number of chips. Seems like DeepSeek was a wake-up call not only to the other side of the planet, but also to its own market. In the second half of this year, Baidu Baidu plans to release a new generation AI model, ERNIE 5.0, which will process all types of information from text to video way more efficiently. A couple of days after the release of DeepSeek, the tech giant Alibaba announced the release of its AI model Qwen 2.5 Max, which surpasses all existing models, quote, in almost all indicators. Looking at the monumental progress China has achieved with this little raises a few uneasy questions. The main one being, how justified were the hundreds of billions of dollars of investment in AI by Google, say, or OpenAI? Nobody wants to back down, so naturally a conflict arose, with Chinese companies being accused of copying technologies in unfair competition. They even gossiped that DeepSeek was unsafe and shared user data with third parties. Insert joke about Firefox here. All this led to the fact that Microsoft and OpenAI launched their own investigation, stating that they found evidence of unauthorized access to its data. It's clear as day, all the big boys in artificial intelligence are playing king of the hill, alternately climbing higher and higher until a competitor pulls them back down. And this game is much more difficult than it seems. After all, it has gathered too many paradoxes and contradictions. AI has become the new battlefield for corporations and countries, where OpenAI, Google, and Chinese tech giants are fighting today. Everyone is trying to prove that they are the alpha by any means necessary. So they not only announce more and more advanced models, but also actively interfere with competitors' operations. Literally the day DeepSeek dropped, OpenAI issued a statement in which it accused Chinese developers of stealing intellectual property. Allegedly, DeepSeek developers used ChatGPT to train and teach their own system. The battle against Chinese algorithms emerged on all fronts. To begin with, the chatbot from China was accused of spreading communist propaganda and espionage. And then candidate for U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick loudly stated, quote, "They have found their ways to circumvent our bans. I don't believe that DeepSeek was developed honestly. This is nonsense. They stole our developments and hacked our secrets. This must be put to an end." DeepSeek naturally denied the accusations, stating their models were developed independently, emphasizing that the work was carried out on the basis of open systems available to the public, unlike OpenAI's GPT. Surprisingly, Altman said he has no plans to start legal proceedings at this moment. Perhaps because the company understands its toughest competitor is not so much the Chinese giants as the evolution of technology itself. Instead of spending resources on litigation, it's necessary to move forward, and at a faster pace. After all, OpenAI has a few skeletons in its closet. For several years now, they've been haunted by internal conflicts, accusations of being too commercial, and more than a handful of lawsuits about copyright infringement, the use of unauthorized data to train ChatGPT, phone taps, you name it. For instance, Alter vs. OpenAI, where the Writers Guild, led by John Grisham, Jodi Picoult, and George Martin, accused the company of using their works of art to train the chatbot. Google has also had a fair share of those. After all, it receives hundreds of patent infringement and confidentiality claims. Plaintiffs are demanding damage compensations of up to $7 billion from the company. The growing number of transnational corporations that want to have their say in the world of AI adds fuel to the fire. Tesla, IBM, and Amazon are all here sitting pretty. The cherry on top was the open letter signed by Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, and more than 1,000 experts calling for the suspension of AI development until common security protocols are created, implemented, and tested. Once public, the letter generated a heated discussion on international rules of the game. At the Paris summit, 61 countries, including EU states, signed a declaration for open artificial intelligence with an inclusive and ethical approach to its development. But the US and the UK were dissatisfied with such wording and abstained from signing. According to US Vice President J.D. Vance, quote, "Too strict of a regulation could kill the industry at the moment when it's just beginning to develop." Statements like these lead to ambiguous conclusions. It turns out that the American doctrine of AI development is to become a leader in this area at any cost, regardless of security, censorship, and confidentiality. does it not? And we completely forgot that in addition to ethical, judicial, and social conflicts, there's also a purely technological caveat. Algorithms are meaningless without powerful equipment, and the big kahuna here, NVIDIA, is experiencing difficulties with competition from chip manufacturers in China. It's worth remembering a certain Huawei, which is actively promoting its Ascend series of AI processors. With the support of the government, the company is already working on compatibility of its chips with NVIDIA solutions through software tools despite the technical aspects. After all, progress is fundamentally impossible without the most advanced components. All the scandals that have erupted are not just disputes between large companies. This is another reminder that the race for the championship in the field of AI is only gaining momentum. Who will be able to become the absolute leader, or will the future of AI be decided by completely different forces? Well, it depends. Who takes the long-awaited first step? What are we talking about? Why, AGI, of course. Who will create artificial general intelligence, an AI that can think like a human? This will turn the world upside down for one simple reason. Chatbots, autonomous cars, neural networks for generating pictures, they all work within a narrow framework. You can have a meaningful and helpful dialogue with GPT, but it can't take you from point A to point B. Now imagine that the same program allows you to develop medicines, write books, play games, manage a company, and even train you. That's what AGI is. The most interesting thing is that many respectable scientists are talking about its imminency. Futurologist Ray Kurzweil believes that AGI may appear as early as 2029. Geoffrey Hinton, a pioneer of deep learning, suggests that such a system will appear in the next 20 years. And Sam Altman? Well, he says that it'll take 1,000 days. But this won't be the finale, because ahead is a level at which AI will turn into a real super intelligent being, surpassing the intelligence of all mankind combined. And how are the industry titans doing? Well, in fact, quite well for themselves, despite all the conflicts and infighting. Google, with its DeepMind department, is betting on hybrid models that combine different types of intelligence, for example. They've already shocked everyone with AlphaGo, and now they've taken up the Gemini AI model, which is capable of processing text, images, audio, and other types of data. They're also assembling a new team of researchers to develop world models that can simulate real physical environments. OpenAI, meanwhile, has presented an updated roadmap for AGI development in which it announced GPT-5. The company will combine best practices, creating a single system capable of using all the tools and adapting to any task. We hate the drop-down list with models just as much as all of you. End quote from Altman. But if we're looking forward to GPT-5, then the intellectual agent operator is already in front of us. It can independently manage a computer, perform complex tasks, and interact with the browser. For example, with the help of Operator, you can order delivery, plan a trip, or book a table. Musk, who left OpenAI, is also busy. He recently unveiled the, quote, smartest AI on Earth, end quote, an advanced version of his chatbot Grok 3, which, according to tests, surpassed GPT-4o, Gemini 2 Pro, and DeepSeek V3 in mathematics, programming, and science. To understand how powerful this Grok is, the XAI team faced colossal technical difficulties, connecting 200,000 graphics processors into a single network. Musk even admitted that they had rented about a quarter of all mobile cooling systems in the United States. In China, AGI is generally considered a national initiative in which more than 2,000 developers from numerous research institutes participated. The main thing in this crazy race for leadership is not to forget that superintelligence can become an existential threat to all mankind if it's developed without proper control. Despite the rapid development of multimodal models, existing approaches are still far from creating AGI. Algorithms are becoming more efficient, chips more powerful, but for a real leap from artificial intelligence to human intelligence, it will take at least a fundamentally new architecture of systems. Who can invent it? Nobody knows. When will it happen? Maybe tomorrow? Maybe in 100 years? Maybe it's already here. But the definite answer is everyone is striving for it. Even AI itself, which is actively involved in scientific research and perhaps will itself suggest how we can take this step. And now's the time to think. Can we even live alongside a form of intelligence that surpasses us in thinking, adaptability, and even survival skills? Who will rule this world then, and are we ready for the consequences? So many questions and so many interesting videos waiting for you right here on our channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, who do you think will get closest to AGI first? The story is just beginning, and every day brings us a new scandal, new tech, and new players. So once again, subscribe to our channel and check out our Instagram for more from the world of high tech.